G'day mate and welcome back to Factorio with me, JD. So, this week's base tour is going to be slightly different to all the other ones because we're not really touring a base. But we'll start with the start. So, a couple of months ago, my community map went up and I do a new community map every month. And this time around we did a race to the edge of the map because a lot of people don't actually realise that Factorio maps are not infinite in size. The devs have put some sort of limitation on a map size purely because there's a limit to the amount of RAM that any computer can use in Factorio. So maps are actually limited to 1 million tiles in any direction, well, in all directions from spawn. So you can go 1 million tiles east and 1 million tiles west and 1 million tiles north and 1 million tiles south and need about 120 odd gigabytes of RAM to load the map. We did a race to the edge of the map, a short, a narrow, 1,000 tiles tall ribbon world, just driving to the east. And in 30 days, we made it. We made it all 1 million tiles to the edge of the map. And there's actually a playlist of live streams that I did for that event, which I'll actually link up in the top right-hand corner. By all means, at the end of the video, I recommend going and checking it out. Because it's fascinating the problems we ran into running to the edge of the map. One, map size became massive. We actually ran commands continuously to remove resources, remove trees, remove rocks, remove, blown up rocks on the ground. Remove basically anything we didn't need. We even went to the point of actually removing resource patches because they lowered not only the game save file size, but also the RAM required. By the end of the map, it was pretty much a guaranteed you need 16 gig of RAM to just join the map. 8 gig was somewhat. Basically, with 8 gig of RAM, you had to join the map and then dump all your RAM to the page file to then load another 8 gig in RAM, preferably by somebody paused whilst your machine was doing all this, to then finally get into the game, to finally write off more and more to the page file where you didn't need it, to then run the game with about 4 gig of RAM normally. Olek, after completing that event, went and wondered, can he automate the automation? Right? So he grabbed recursive blueprints, which you guys have probably, if you've been watching videos on YouTube for a while, you've probably seen before. I think it was Neilhouse who actually did a solar slider that just slid across the map and laid down solar panels. And I've seen other people have done races with them and all sorts of things. It's been really interesting to see what the community has actually come up with this mod. And Olek took it one step further. He decided he wanted to race to the edge of the map, but he didn't actually want to do it. So he made this large collection of smarts right here that basically rushes to the edge of the map bit by bit. There's 1,500 construction robots which are flat out doing all the actual building. And if you've been watching the mini-map, you've seen that things have been happening whilst I've been talking. And like I said, he really automated the automation. So after he starts this off, the thing just runs. And look, I will say, a base tour, just for the obligatory base tour, this is it. It brings wood back, it burns it just to get rid of all the wood and the coal and anything else it makes. It makes artillery shells. Most of the resources come from infinite chests because why not? The challenge is not to actually make a base. Making a base is the easy part when it comes to this particular challenge. And having lots of trains on standby to come out and help push the front line forward. And as you can see, he's got quite a few trains here already. But we're only 5,000 tiles into the map. And what I'll actually do is I'll double the game speed, just so you guys can see this in action. Because it's a little bit amazing what he's done. So it deconstructs the train station, therefore the train moves forward. Next thing it'll do, and actually let's go out to here. It'll unload the train with all the new pieces it needs and pack up all the wood and everything else. Next thing it's actually going to do is it's going to deconstruct the old smart system after it turns the new smart system on. You can see it's already got green, got a white light, so it's already on. This one's getting dismantled. All right. Meanwhile, as soon as that's done, come on, game. Yeah, it's already ghosted down the next set of lasers, and now it goes down the set in front of that. And, you know, we're unloading artillery shells constantly, which have artillery shells, artillery being put down, loaded with shells, taking out all the spawners at max range. And the wall of lasers is literally just for the loose spiders that decide to either run into harm's way or those that get confused and lost. Like, of course, well, actually, there's a whole pile right here. They're all confused and lost. They're not charging at us. They're just standing around like idiots. And the lasers to clean up those guys, you know, and to stop the whole lot being eaten, obviously. But this is just continuously blueprinting itself forward. Now, I will say, and I will actually make this save available in the description, because I do recommend that if you've got any interest in the power of recursive blueprints and what they can actually do, I do recommend you check them out. He does have, right back at start, a fairly simplified notes on how this works. So, start-stop button, which is this combinator in the top left-hand corner. And of course, I can't run straight now with 2 times game speed. But just a simple on-off to turn the whole system on and off. So the blueprint destroyer chest, which is this chest up here, which actually has the blueprint book. The step timer, step counter, constraints, active bot state, and material state. So this checks that everything is in the system that it needs. So it waits for this machine to be built, then waits for the bots to stop, then deconstructs the old machine back here, then removes the lasers above the train tracks and below the train tracks. Then places a new push blueprint, which is a new wall of lasers. Loop steps 3 to 5 n times. And in his case, I think he's got it looped 11 times. So it'll remove, push, and then loop. Over and over and over and over. Then I'll tell the train to go away. Wait for last push blueprint to be built. Remove the rails section leading into the train station. So he just chops this off. This off entirely. Because this train is stuck here. It has nowhere to go. Right? It's been told to go to the front supply. And when the front supply station, you know, that train track is cut off, he has nowhere to go. Places the new train station down. So you've seen this already repeat once, right? There was a train station where I was standing. It's gone. The new train station will be up here somewhere. So it'll place down the new train station. Places the new smarts machine to keep the whole system running. Then removes the extra rail signals, right, from the chain signal. This chain signal in here and this signal in here, those two will go away. And removes the old train station and then deconstructs it itself, being the old smarts, and turns on the new smarts. So it literally, it's wonderful in the way he's done it. And we'll go back to game speed 1. And you can see with the amount of artillery shells flying over my head. Hi, biters! You can see with the amount of artillery shells flying above my head. This thing will just go forever. Now, he does have himself a little bit of an easier job on this particular map, because when I ran the Race to the Edge community map, I upped the biters. Upped the biters by a lot, actually. So we went from a spawner with 350 hit points to 10 times that, 3,500 hit points. We did have big worms, which I'm yet to see any of in this map. Not that they last terribly long. They keep getting hit in the face with artillery shells. Yeah, I haven't seen any big worms yet. The evolution's definitely there, but we're pushing forward fairly quickly. Small, medium, medium. Yeah, okay. So, not only did we have big worms, but we actually had behemoth worms with 5,000 hit points each. Let's go up to game speed 2. We'll just watch this for a minute. And you just see how well it just steps forward continuously, never ending. It's like a death march. But yeah, like I said, on the community map, I actually, like I said, I upped the difficulty a lot. We had a lot more aggressive biters. When you took out spawners, or when you attacked a spawner, a lot more biters would actually spawn. Along with a lot more would spawn and charge towards you. Along with, we had spawners with 10 times the amount of hit points, along with the big worms with a lot of hit points. I think they're like 750 hit points, and the behemoth worms with 5,000 hit points, which meant that a spawner took 4 artillery shells to take out. A behemoth worm took 10 artillery shells to take out. So slightly different stats-wise, but like just looking at this map, which has been running for an hour, by the way. Biter spawner, 6.2 thousand. Big biter, 6,000. Spitter spawners, 3.7k. It's not slowing down, and the losses are not massive. Considering the amount of kills, the losses are not massive. Production-wise, 1 hour. I have used 7,000 artillery shells for an hour's worth. So, you know, definitely doing some sort of damage, and pushing forward terribly, really, really well. And you can see the artillery shell usage has slowly gone up as this is pushed further and further into biter territory and further away from the spawn position. But I actually want to show this one. So this is with my community map settings. And at the moment, I've actually switched this off. Well, mostly off. There's some spawners that didn't get the message. So this one's attempting to run at game speed 2, so it's going to be a little bit faster. But we'll just turn the system on. And hopefully I haven't broken it. It's on. It's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. It just did something. So my UPS tanks there because it just sets 1,000 construction bots to run off and do things. So it's put down the new train station, the new brains, and then all the robots will fly off. And this is the sort of scale. So there's a behemoth worm with 5,000 hit points. Was a spawner with 3,500 hit points. Big worm with 750 hit points, which are very, very nasty, I will say. And you can look at the sort of artillery trouble we have on this map. Now, I will say, this is the one that he left running. So he wanted to, one, find out if he could automate it. Turns out he can. Secondly, he wanted... I need to close the second version of Factorio. That'll probably help. There we go. That helped massively. So yeah, he wanted to know if he could, one, automate it, and two, how long it would take. So this is at, and I've got the distance on the screen. You can see it right here. This is at 556,000 tiles. So this is one he let running at, over the weekend on the work computer, because let's at least let the boss pay for the electricity. And it ran for, I think he said it was 170 hours. It must have been a long weekend. Either it was a couple of nights overnight. He just let it run. And we'll go, I'll zoom all the way out. And it's got the exact same start. The only difference is being this far forward, he's had to actually put in a train refueling station. And I'm just trying to find it. Because we had to do the exact same thing on our community map. I can't be that far away. No, that's... Well, I've almost scrolled all the way back to home. So I'm scrolling at the same time I'm clicking and dragging the map to move it forward. So you can see home base is devoid of trains now. Because they're all pretty busy. That one's got a broken track. Oops. yeah, they're all pretty busy on the main line running up and back. Where's the refueling station? 5:30, 5:17. There it is. Where's a train? I want a train coming. There we go. There's a train coming in that direction. Fuel. So, as you can see, this is halfway along the map. And the train has less than half the fuel left. So, he's had to pop in a refueling station. And we'll just swap to that view. And you can see just really, really quickly refuel the train and then move it on. Otherwise, there's no guarantee they'll make it all the way up. We actually ran ours with nuclear fuel, which we found had a lower fuel amount total than what 10 stacks of rocket fuel actually used. Yeah, faster acceleration, and we've got nuclear fuel, so we might as well use nuclear fuel. But yeah, overall, probably would have been better with rocket fuel for the higher fuel density. But as you can see, whilst I've been talking, this has moved forward. This has moved forward quite a bit. Trees out of the way. Thank you. And has now pushed up to here. And we'll just continue pushing forward. Taking out all the biters along the way. And potentially, like, you know, if you ever run out of resources, you could just tap any one of these patches at 122 billion iron. Or, you know, 87 billion copper. Just in case you needed a green circuit or two. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this base tour in air quotes. It is very, very interesting what the community comes up with sometimes, and how many artillery shells it does take to take out one strip of biter mayhem. Yeah, that was a full load of artillery shells, and that was a second full load to kill everything. Same story for an hour, like roughly about the same kill ratio, except a lot of behemoth worms that we've suddenly got to deal with. And production stat wise for an hour, slightly more artillery shell usage, just slightly. But yeah, like I said, I will leave this video here. I will link not this save, because this saves like a 300 meg save, but I will actually link the earlier save in the description if you guys want to have a look at the save file, even run the save file if you want to see how far towards the edge of the map you can push before your RAM melts. That's always highly advised. At the same time, you can actually check out Olek's smarts here and see what you can do. See what you can do with a recursive blueprint mod. Maybe you can automate the automation of the automation to automate a whole factory. I don't know. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. As always, at the end of the video, you'll find a link to the playlist with all sorts of other base tours. Olek's done two really, really good ones already. One was a blue belt of all science packs, so it's 2.4K of each science pack. And he also, after doing that, got bored and doubled it. So he did 2 blue belts of all the different science packs. Along with lots of other base tours by other people. And as I said, up in the top right hand corner, I'll actually list to the original Race to the Edge playlist that me and my community did. And you can have a look through the live streams that we did there. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch up in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!